Now on 4 News Now at 6, a suspected impaired driver hit a car, then the driver leaving a Spokane father clinging for life.
She didn't just ruin one person's life. She ruined 12 people's life.
How this family is left to pick up the pieces and what Spokane police are doing to crack down on impaired driving.
Clouds and comfortable temperatures to kick off Hoop Fest weekend, but don't get too used to it. I'm tracking a major warm-up in your first alert forecast.
And breaking news in the University of Idaho murders case. The major blow dealt to the Bryan Kohberger defense team by the judge and what the judge ruled about other potential killers. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
The head of trauma looked at me and said, "He's the worst case I've ever seen in my life."
Well, this is 21-year-old Ali Abbas. Right now, he's in the hospital where his family says he is unrecognizable after being hit by a car, then dragged for several blocks. This young father's family tells us he broke every bone in one of his legs, and the other had to be amputated. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Derek Dice. Spokane police say his life-changing injuries were caused by a 19-year-old woman who was driving under the influence. Police also say the number of deadly crashes involving impaired drivers is on the rise. Our Alexandra Conyard shares what SPD is doing to crack down, and she also spoke to the victim's family about how one decision could destroy many lives.
I don't know what to tell his 4-year-old son. He keep asking about his dad, and we say his dad. Our friend started with his dad is taking a vacation.
A sister struggling to come up with the words about what happened to her 4-year-old nephew's dad. Ali Abbas is now going into his 3rd week of fighting for his life after he was hit by a DUI driver at an intersection of Washington and Maxwell, where police say he was dragged for several blocks.
Which caused a 3rd-degree burn on his chest, abdomen, back, arms.
The severity of Ali's injuries led to him being airlifted from Sacred Heart and brought to a hospital in Seattle, where he came in with broken bones from head to toe.
The head of trauma looked at me and said, "He's the worst case I've ever seen in my life."
He is one of 2 with severe injuries caused by crashes from this impaired driver. Police report that after Ali was hit, that impaired driver ended up running the stop sign here at Ellis and Monroe and crashing into another person's car. While that person is now out of the hospital, they're also dealing with critical injuries.
Data from the Traffic Safety Commission shows a rise of impaired drivers in deadly crashes, with the number of fatalities in the city of Spokane jumping from 8 in 2023 to 12 in 2024. In response, Spokane police started enrolling 2 full-time DUI enforcement officers. For Rue, the fact that her brother's heart is still beating through all of this is a miracle. However, the future is still frightening.
I am really scared. Trying to keep the family together.
In Spokane, Alexandra Conyards, 4 News Now.
All right, breaking news now in the University of Idaho murders case. 2 major losses for Bryan Kohberger's defense team today.
With the judge denying their request to delay the trial and the possibility of there being another suspect. Jordan Smith explains why the defense wanted it delayed in the first place and who they presented as alternative perpetrators.
Yeah, well, it's official. The trial is going to start in August. Kohberger's defense team has been arguing that it needed more time to sift through 68 terabytes of evidence in this case, and the pretrial publicity would make it impossible to find an impartial jury. His lawyers pointed to a recent Dateline special that included information that should have been subject to the gag order, and they argued the leak should be investigated before the trial begins. But the judge denying their motion. In a statement, Judge Hippler writing, quote, "This court is not willing to continue the trial indefinitely to allow the defense team to embark on fishing expedition, pulling at every conceivable thread in the defendant's familial tapestry." The defense has also tried to present evidence that someone other than Kohberger committed these crimes. Kohberger's team tried to present evidence of 4 alternative perpetrators in a closed-door hearing, 3 of which were socially connected to one or more of the victims and lived within walking distance and knew the layout of the home. The judge said there was no further connection to the crime, and each person has cooperated with police and provided DNA and fingerprints. The 4th person had a passing connection with one of the victims and saw her shopping at a store 5 weeks before the murders. The court record says he followed her out of the store and tried to talk to her, but then turned away before doing so. The incident was captured on security cameras, and that person in question has cooperated with police and also provided a DNA sample. So now that leaves us with jury selection slated to begin August 4th Opening statements August 18th. In studio, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
All right, Jordan, thank you so much. We've got a bit of a cool down in the weather, but then it's going to start picking back up as we get closer to Hoop Fest weekend.
I know. Everybody's looking forward to 80s for Hoop Fest. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker joining us now with a look at that sunny forecast.
Yes, it is going to be a sunny, warm Hoop Fest. 4 things to know about your weather. We'll be in the 70s on Friday. Very comfortable start to the weekend, but then we heat up into the 80s for Hoop Fest, staying dry for most areas other than an isolated mountain shower, and we're headed into the 90s next week. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's happening right now over the Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena, the Spokane County Courthouse. We have overcast conditions currently and a little bit of light precipitation crossing the Cascades into the Okanagan areas and parts of the Columbia Basin. A sprinkle or two possible late this evening. Our forecast radar showing a little bit of light rain around 9 o'clock and then a few sprinkles around 11, and then we dry out and begin clearing out as we head into Friday. Speaking of Friday, you'll want to get a good night's sleep so you can enjoy it. We're going to be seeing a nice evening with mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast.
All right, Chris, thank you. The city of Spokane is parting ways with the Spokane Regional Emergency Center, used to handle all 911 calls in the greater Spokane area.
This after a disagreement on which calls should be handled by the service. We've been telling you about this for months now. The split will officially happen in the next 6 months. Until then, Shrek will still be taking 911 calls. But with the deadline, officials will have to come up with an alternative for the city. In a statement, Shrek said it has become clear that the city desires local control over its dispatch services and is no longer interested in being part of a fully regionalized shared model built for efficiency and public safety. But the city said the Shrek board's vote to remove Spokane Fire within 6 months is irresponsible and jeopardizes public safety. The new call center location will be announced in the coming months.
Well, after some back and forth, the Rathdrum City Council approved the rezoning of a 127-acre property.
This decision brings developer Hayden Homes one step closer to building 500 new homes. This property is off of West Bocal and North Meyer Roads. That's southeast of the Rathdrum City Center. Our Madeline Mullins spoke to Rathdrum residents about what they think of this new development.
The countryside and the small town charm are why many people live here in Rathdrum, Idaho.
To work with our neighbors and be friends with our neighbors and enjoy their company.
But all of that may be changing.
I like to know who my customers are when I'm working, but the bigger we get, the fewer people you feel like you know.
And those who live in Rathdrum worry that the city's infrastructure is not enough to keep up with all of these new developments.
Water, power, sewage, all of that is not in place and should be before the approval.
Not having the right infrastructure is why the original rezone request was denied in May. The city council saying Hayden Homes needed to address traffic concerns that would come with this development. Now, City Council feels its requirements have been met.
They would widen Bakel, widen Meyer. They would fix and improve the intersection at Nagel and Meyer. They would also build an intersection at Nagel and Railway.
The traffic concerns are just one of the problems those who live in Rathdrum have with this development.
Let's talk about our schools and how many more students that would bring to our schools, and whether or not we have the school system to support it.
Too many people at the one grocery store in town, too many cars on the road. It's too much, too fast for many people here in Rathdrum.
And growth isn't a bad thing if it's done properly, and I don't feel like it's been done properly.
Now, the developer has to get the subdivision application approved by City Council, a decision that dictates exactly how many homes can be built on this property. In Rathdrum, I'm Madeline Mullins, 4 News Now.
Well, still ahead, leaky ceilings, outdated classrooms, and buildings held together with duct tape. East Valley schools starting to show their age. Now the district is asking voters to fund a major rebuild, saying students can't wait any longer.
And toxic chemicals in the Spokane River linked to fertilizer made from treated sewage. The alarming numbers and what they could mean for swimmers and fishermen. Next on 4 News Now.
Download the KXLY Plus app on your connected TV.
Book your stay and play getaway today at Mississauga.com.
We're back, baby.
Yes.
Grandma, he smells really good.
Name something your mate's booty has in common with the basketball.
It bounces.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward. With pure power unleashed and future-forward technology. Because every mile matters, and every path leads to new possibilities. Get the freedom to save. Current qualified lessees can get this 2025 Equinox all-wheel drive for around $299 a month. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Touch can mean so many things, even for children with moderate to severe eczema. Touch can stir a sense of wonder, can make a ride go smoothly, and make a smile stretch ear to ear. Dupixent can help your child stay ahead of eczema with clearer skin and noticeably less itch. When a touch is all in good fun, Dupixent helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema to help heal your child's skin from within. Severe allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists. Help your child feel the heal and see the difference. Reach out to your child's eczema specialist today.
At Fred Meyer, you never compromise. You get up high quality like bread baked in store and down low prices everywhere you turn. Up high quality that's guaranteed fresh and down low prices on over 1,000 items. With quality and savings that keep adding up, hand it to Fred Meyer shoppers. You never compromise. Fred Meyer. Fresh for everyone.
92.9 CZU. CZU.
The Spokane River is the focus of some new research by the Spokane Riverkeeper.
According to the study, an alarming level of PFAS, or forever chemicals, were found in our local surface water. Mary Sheridan spoke to river advocates who say they're concerned but not surprised.
The Spokane River is home to many animals, plants, and now, according to a new study, PFAS.
We're looking at PFAS levels above and below the wastewater treatment plant here in the Spokane River, and we're also looking in Dragoon Creek above and below biosolids application sites.
Simply put, these biosolids are treated sewage from the Riverside Park Water Treatment Center. It's being used as fertilizer on some fields in northern Spokane County between Deer Park and Chattaroy. But runoff from these fields is causing some issues.
And we found significantly more PFAS in the creek below the application site. 5,000% more PFAS, in fact, violating draft human health standards for these creeks that are designed to protect people that recreate like fish.
The health threshold for this study was 1 part per trillion, a ratio of contamination to safe water. Upstream from the Riverside treatment plant, the Spokane River showed 1.24 parts per trillion, while downstream from the facility clocked in at 6 parts per trillion.
That's a very low concentration, right? But these things can harm people in very low concentrations.
If you were planning on taking a swim this summer, that's still okay. But those who fish in these waters should be wary. Some are advocating for the city of Spokane to get permits that would test sewage for PFAS.
As long as we approach this collaboratively, we can really address this problem and remove biosolids as a source of PFAS from our river in the near future.
The city of Spokane maintains that the wastewater is running through the most advanced testing and treatment.
The state of Washington has always been extremely ahead of the curve of these things, and we have been very proactive and committed a lot of public funds. We all want the same thing, and we will continue to work together to do that.
Reporting in Spokane, Mary Sheridan, 4 News Now.
Well, the speed cameras on I-90 between Liberty Lake and State Line are gone. These cameras were part of a pilot program meant to encourage drivers to slow down. Similar cameras were also placed on I-5 in Skagit County. Anyone caught speeding didn't get a ticket. Instead, they received a notice of how much they would have been charged if they were ticketed. Since the program started on April 10th, more than 16,000 of these notices have been mailed to encourage drivers to slow down.
Your camping forecast. You can avoid the Hoop Fest crowds and enjoy a beautiful weekend at Hunter's Campground on Lake Roosevelt. Sunny Saturday and Sunday with temperatures in the 80s. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Beat the heat. Always water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m.
My parents started their first dealership in Coeur d'Alene in 1983. They took pride in being locally owned and work hard to help this great community we call home.
Now, 3 generations later, we're still proud to be one of the last locally owned Subaru dealerships, and we're working harder than ever to give back to the community that has supported us all these years.
Because we're looking forward to being your local family Subaru dealer for generations to come.
Celebrate the 4th with big savings this week at Walker's. Get store-wide markdowns and huge clearance deals, or get it now and pay over time with no interest financing for up to 5 years. This week at Walker's.
Appliances that spark joy and big savings. Come check out all LG appliances on sale and in stock this Independence Day at Fred's Appliance. From induction ranges to dishwashers to washers and dryers and so much more. You'll find explosive and exclusive sales on all LG appliances this 4th of July. Save 30% with our truckload savings on this LG refrigerator, now just $15.99. Plus, save up to $500 with an additional Fred's exclusive Buy More, Save More rebate.
So you want somewhere to play? We got you. A nice relaxing stay? We got you. Wanna be entertained? We got you. Wanna play golf all day? We got you. Coeur d'Alene Casino. Winning is just the beginning. So you're looking for something to do? We got you. Want some tasty food? We got you. Heard you wanna do some shopping? We got you. The live music is always popping at the Coeur d'Alene Casino. At the Coeur d'Alene Casino. Coeur d'Alene Casino. Winning is just the beginning.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability and commanding style. From the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Right now, you can get a 2.99% APR on a 2025 Pilot.
Welcome back in. Perfect weather to just bring a whole bunch of people to our beautiful spot of Spokane.
Maybe 200,000 plus?
Sure. And it is, I swear, it doesn't really matter what the temperature is at Hoop Fest. It's going to be hot downtown, but we've been a lot hotter than what we're going to be experiencing this weekend. That is for sure. One of our hottest days ever was on Hoop Fest several years ago. 75 degrees in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene right now. Very comfortable temperatures, especially with no sunshine warming things up. It is mostly cloudy in both locations. We're going to start the day off tomorrow with some clouds, but dry conditions. The sprinkles that we may get this evening will be long gone by tomorrow. Expect mostly sunny skies, heading up to a high of 78 degrees. Seasonable 77 is our average high. Around the region, you'll find temperatures in the 70s through North Idaho, down into Moscow and Pullman, 87 in Lewiston. We'll be in the 80s in Moses Lake, Ritzville, as well as Grand Coulee, 80 degrees tomorrow in Omak. We will get to 80 degrees in downtown Spokane. It's always a little bit warmer in downtown. in amongst the buildings and the asphalt and then all the bodies. Again, it feels hot at Hoop Fest no matter what. 80 at 9 Mile and Mead, 73 tomorrow in Spirit Lake. We are going to warm up a little bit for the weekend, and we will not enjoy this lovely breeze on Friday. That will help cool you down on the golf course. 20-mile-per-hour gusts possible in the morning, 25-mile-per-hour gusts as we get into the afternoon. Sustained winds in that 15-mile-per-hour range. Then the weekend comes, and it is going to be mostly sunny Saturday, sunny on Sunday. Now, we start off with temperatures in the 50s. If you have a court in the shade first thing in the morning, you may feel a little cool, but that is not going to last as we hit 80 Saturday and then even warmer Sunday. And then things really get hot. We're heading into the 90s on Monday. And right now it looks like it is going to stay in the 90s right on through Thursday and beyond. Still cooler than our hottest Hoop Fest ever when we were well up into the triple digits. And that's something to remember as we take a look at this planning forecast. Other than the few sprinkles that we might get late this evening, we are dry through the 7-day forecast. We don't necessarily like to see that, especially as we've got those 90s ahead starting on Monday and continuing through Thursday. Temperatures for the next few nights will be in the 50s, and then we're into the overnight lows in the 60s in the extended forecast. Derek?
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Looking forward to that weekend for Hoop Fest. Listen up if you're planning any outdoor adventures this summer. There are new restrictions going into effect next week on lands managed by the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Those include a ban on fires, including campfires. Personal camp stoves and lanterns fueled by propane will still be allowed. Target shooting and smoking outside of an enclosed vehicle is also banned. Fish and Wildlife says this year's forecast shows an increased risk of wildfires, so it's important everyone does their part to help prevent them. The restrictions go into effect on July 1st. For a full list of these new rules, you can head to our website, KXLY.com.
Well, Republicans on Capitol Hill are racing to deliver President Trump's big, beautiful bill by July 4th, but a surprise Senate ruling could derail the plan. What's at stake for millions of Americans and why the battle's far from over? Next on 4 News Now.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
The 4th of July savings are rolling in at Findlay Downtown Toyota.
And that means explosive lease savings on the popular RAV4, Toyota Prius, and sporty Tacoma trucks.
This week at Findlay.
At Northern Quest, it's easy to get distracted with over 1,500 slot machines, including 392 different slot titles, all competing for your attention. A sexy Roman god here, a magical owl wizard there. Whatever's going on here. It can be a little overwhelming until you realize our slot machines pay out $167 million in annual jackpots. You're not so distracted now, are you? Northern Quest. Yes, the best.
There's only a short time left to get your backyard and deck ready for the 4th of July at Windsor Plywood.
It's time to shop, shop for wood.
Whether you're looking for PVC, composite, or wood, the Windsor Plywood Decking Pros can help you find what you need, including great railing options. It's the one-stop shop all the contractors use to build the best decks in the region.
Windsor Plywood.
Plus, local delivery is available. Celebrate the 4th with big savings right now at all Walker's Furniture locations. It's the perfect time to upgrade for less with store-wide markdowns and huge clearance deals. Or get it now and pay for it over time with no money down and no interest financing for up to 5 years. No need to wait. Bring home comfort for less and get that Serta or Beauty Rest mattress you've been wanting, because these 4th of July savings are too big to miss. This week at Walker's, where quality just costs less.
Global Credit Union serves the men and women of our armed forces stationed around the world.
We're proud to honor our military members by wearing red on Friday.
Red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed, and 4 News Now and Global Credit Union are inviting you to wear red on Fridays too.
Show your support for the men and women of our armed forces.
Tell them and their families thank you for their service and for protecting our future. Stop by any Global branch and pick up a red pin.
And then remember to wear red every Friday from now until September 11th.
It's the biggest trade-in event in America today through July 7th at Cal.
This is your chance to trade in anything, and I mean anything.
So you can upgrade to a better set of wheels by trading in the old for something better at Cal.
4 News Now's Get Outside Guide is brought to you by Click It RV.
Around the nation now, President Donald Trump held a pep rally today for his government spending bill.
The president also set a deadline for when he wants it sent to his desk. But with disagreements within the Republican Party, it may be difficult to get it to the president in time. CNN's Karen Caifa explains.
The White House says a Thursday event aimed at highlighting how the president's so-called big, beautiful bill will benefit millions of working-class Americans. But also on Thursday, the president's July 4th deadline for having that bill on his desk became a little more challenging.
House Speaker Mike Johnson insists Hill Republicans are still on track to send a massive tax and spending bill to President Donald Trump's desk by the end of next week.
When we said we would get the whole thing to the president's desk by July 4th, and that was our objective, many of you also rolled your eyes, but we are on target right now to do that very thing.
But on Thursday, the Senate's rules referee deeming certain provisions out of bounds for a simple majority vote. Most importantly, the nonpartisan Senate parliamentarian rejecting the bill's proposed change to taxes that states can impose to help pay for Medicaid coverage. That's a major jolt to many Republicans who wanted to use the levy to offset other provisions in the bill, including an extension of Trump's 2017 tax cuts. Nixing that provision could sway Senate Republicans worried about politically unpopular Medicaid cuts and challenges to rural hospitals in their states. But it could also rankle fiscal conservatives. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Republicans can work it out.
We're plowing forward, and when we actually get on, it still is an open question, but rest assured we will.
If and when the Senate passes a version of the bill, it still has to go back to the House for approval. Speaker Johnson says clearing the bill has the full focus of congressional Republicans right now.
There's nothing more important that we should be involved in and can be involved in than getting the one big, beautiful bill to the president's desk.
The July 4th deadline imposed by the president is largely arbitrary, and Republicans could take more time to hash things out. Meanwhile, congressional Democrats have made it clear that Republicans need to find votes on their own. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
While the president tries to get his budget passed, the Trump administration is also sending mixed signals on if ICE and Border Patrol agents should be targeting farm workers. The president recently ordered a pause on industries that largely depend on undocumented workers, like farms, hotels, and restaurants. Critics say during the pandemic, the president called farm workers essential workers, but now his views seem to have changed.
Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great.
But other members of the Trump administration saying they're forging ahead with worksite enforcement operations.
We all know they're essential workers. We need this workforce there. But I hear often from farm workers that he treats them as if they were disposable.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, about 42% of farm workers in the U.S. between 2020 and 2022 lacked legal status. Today, agricultural workers can apply for an H-2A visa, which is focused on filling employment gaps by hiring workers from other countries. But experts in the industry say the program is far from a solution to the labor shortage.
The Supreme Court ruled that states have the right to block Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood clinics. The 6-3 decision was made in Medina versus South Atlantic, where the court rejected a challenge to South Carolina's ban on Medicaid reimbursement for Planned Parenthood. This decision paves the way for other red states to ban the organization from receiving Medicaid reimbursements for services like cancer screenings, birth control, family planning, and pregnancy testing.
At our health center here in Idaho, about 40% of our patients are at or below the federal poverty line. With the healthcare crisis that Idaho is already facing, with physicians leaving the state, it's leaving less and less providers for patients to be able to turn to if they can't turn to Planned Parenthood.
Idaho has not yet passed a law barring Medicaid reimbursements from Planned Parenthood. A fight is brewing over national forest protections as the Trump administration targets a decades-old rule.
What the repeal could mean for Idaho's forests and the risks it poses to Washington's wilderness. And cracked floors, leaking ceilings, and aging classrooms. Why East Valley School District leaders say it's time to rebuild, not remodel, and what it could cost homeowners. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
From your head and shoulders, down to your toes, and everywhere in between. Kootenai Health provides advanced medicine right where you need it, right here in North Idaho.
I hope for people that choose to watch my forecast on Good Morning Northwest is as you're making your plans for the day, you know what's coming up for your day and how to plan it, and that you have a little bit of fun on the way.
Plan your day with Matt Gray, only on Good Morning Northwest.
Playing First Interstate Center for the Arts, July 8th through 13th. Tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com.
Grab your sunscreen. Free Swim Fridays are back every Friday in June, July, and August at City of Spokane Valley Pools. Families swim free thanks to Numerica Credit Union and Spokane Parks Foundation.
Some of the best summer memories happen by the pool. Numerica's excited for families to soak up the sun without worrying about the cost.
Every Friday at all 3 Spokane Valley Pool locations, kids and adults can swim for free at open swim sessions.
I did it! We'll see you there.
Tomorrow morning, Chris Powell and GMA are here to help you get in shape and on a budget you'll love.
Yes.
Feel better, look better, save money. Tomorrow on
Good Morning America.
Don't miss the new season of Collector's Call on MeTV.
There's something that shouts, "This is my childhood and I'm hanging on to it."
A new season of Collector's Call, Sunday at 6:30 on MeTV. Over the air on KXLY 4.2.
Triathletes, if your body reminds you that you are not, in fact, made out of iron, know that Kootenai Health is here for every stroke, pedal, and step of your journey. Find your specialist at kh.org.
We have all your SUV options here at Post Falls Volkswagen. Choose the SUV with easy-to-use technology that best meets your needs and budget. There are so many choices, so take as many test drives as you want, and our knowledgeable staff will assist you with all the information you need.
The redesigned 2025 Tiguan just arrived and is turning heads. Smarter, sleeker, and more stylish than anything on the road.
Find SUV options at Post Falls Volkswagen, the home of 0000.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Well, the East Valley School District is asking voters to approve a $220 million bond in February to rebuild its middle school and high school, both of which are more than 60 years old.
This bond replaces an expiring capital levy that right now costs taxpayers 73 cents per $1,000 of assessed property value. So the new bond is more than doubling that to $1.96 per $1,000 for a home valued at $450,000. If this bond passes, it means an annual cost of about $882. Hunter Bertram shares why the district believes now is the right time for this investment.
We need to invest in our schools. The schools belong to the community.
6 decades of community love seen walking through East Valley Middle and High School. Love that shows its cracks, literally. Dripping ceilings, stained carpet, and some even held together with duct tape.
These buildings, though loved and cared for by maintenance and custodial and taken care of, they've surpassed their life expectancy.
The options have become clear: remodel or rebuild. The district made its decision this week.
The cost of remodeling and tying in old systems is not far from what it costs to start new.
2 new buildings funded by a $220 million bond that will be on the ballot in February 2026.
I mean, part of our vision of the student experience is I belong, I believe, I learn, and I am future ready.
And another big reason the district tells me they're putting this bond on February's ballot is that they want their students to have access to what meets their educational needs. They say these outdated buildings struggle to offer what modern day needs are for their students.
It shows right now that
trades are super important. Any CTE offerings are super important. Anything in the medical field is continuing to be important. So if we have facilities that can meet those needs, our kids will be more apt to be successful and be future ready.
If this bond is approved, coming with it is $80 million from the state. This money will go to the district's 5 elementary schools to bring them up to date. If not passed, I asked.
Well, the problem doesn't go away. What happens is you defer it to a different time, to a future time, and the costs just escalate.
Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
All right. Well, it is really nice that we have our sunsets later because that means more basketball practice.
Of course. And everybody trying to get those last-minute shots up before Hoop Fest this weekend. Let's send it over to Chris Crocker for a look at your first alert forecast.
And the weather is perfect for that. Not too hot, and we have plenty of clouds streaming through the region right now with a few sprinkles coming later this evening, and that's going to be our last chance for precipitation for a while. Forecast radar starting off at our current time shows some light rain moving into the northeast mountains. Very, very light rain, a sprinkle or two over the Columbia Basin, and you may even have a ruined car wash when you get up tomorrow morning in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. That chance of showers will continue, sprinkles I should say, through late evening, but will be drying out overnight and start the day off dry on Friday. 4 things to know about your weather. We'll be in the 70s on Friday. Beautiful weather to play that last game of practice basketball, but we are going to be heating up for the Hoop Fest. We're going to be in the 80s, dry for most of the region other than a few mountain showers, and then we are into the 90s next week. I'll be back with that forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Spokane's downtown core is buzzing with activity as preparations are now in full swing for Hoop Fest, which brings the world's largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament to our city.
And the event also includes lots of other basketball activities for enthusiasts and families. Marissa Rio joins us live now from one of those events, the Toyota Shoot-Off, where action's really heating up, Marissa.
That's right. The energy is definitely building here at Riverfront Park. Right behind me is that Toyota Shoot-Off. People for several hours have been trying to make a half-court shot. Now, if you make the shot, you move on to the next round. And if you miss it, you're out. This is all to win this Hooped Out 2025 Toyota Tacoma. Now, if you think this is tough, there's a new event this year that keeps people playing around the clock.
We're going to be playing about 42 games in the 24 hours.
You heard that right. Starting tomorrow at 7 a.m., these sounds will be heard at the courts outside of the podium for 24 hours straight. It's called Embrace Hoop Fest. The rules?
We have to stay here and stay awake for 24 hours, and then we also ask that everybody play in every game.
Jason Reinhart helped bring this event to Spokane, and he's playing too. There's 32 players, each raising at least $1,000. The money goes to the Hoop Fest Youth League and Embrace Washington, a nonprofit that supports foster youth in the Inland Northwest.
And one of our players has benefited from the services of Embrace Washington, and now he has an adoptive daughter, and he'll be out here playing with us for 24 hours. It was actually his idea, along with another friend of ours, to play for Embrace Washington, and it's a phenomenal cause.
Embrace Washington provides all kinds of assistance, from health care to educational support. Jason Reinhart's 16-year-old son is also playing, and he's raised $1,800. His mindset going into it:
get a lot of sleep tonight, eat a whole bunch of junk food while going through it, get some sugar, hopefully some caffeine, but just have some fun.
Hoop Fest is also excited to see the impact.
Hundreds of thousands of people will be walking through the site, and they'll get to see an amazing opportunity where basketball in our community isn't just about playing. It can be also about charity, can be also about giving back.
Now, you can also give back. For more information on how to donate, visit our website at KXLY.com. Now, Derek and Kirsten, I am going to send it back to you in the studio, but first, I'm going to try one of these half-court shots myself, so wish me luck.
Get it, girl.
Okay, Marissa.
Nice.
I just embarrassed myself. myself on live TV.
Hey, you gave it your best shot.
Just a little short.
Yeah, perfect for me. Hey, volunteers have wheeled out nets, vendors are setting up, teams are checking in.
Yeah, check-in started at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and you better believe it's been swamped with players. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of players, whether tall, small, veterans, or rookies, got their teams checked in today. A row of smiling volunteers getting them squared away with Hoop Fest merch and wishing them good luck. We're still 2 days away from the tournament tipping off, but we caught up with some players getting some last-second reps in before the tourney.
Do you guys have like a favorite memory of Hoop Fest or like a favorite part that you look forward to every year?
Yeah, winning.
Have you guys won it before?
No.
Doesn't mean they haven't won actual games.
Right.
So you can still check your team in tonight until 7 o'clock, and then from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow night. I still want to see what the player t-shirt looks like.
I know.
So if somebody's
I heard you
got
asking.
one, take a pic and send it in to us, if you will. All right, basketball is not your thing, though. Why not check out the Air Show in Coeur d'Alene this weekend?
It's back for the first time in 21 years. One of the big crowd pleasers, Wild Blue, a sleek, high-speed plane flown by retired fighter pilot Jerry, also known as Jive Kirby. He's bringing years of experience and a whole lot of passion to the skies. But for Jive, it's not just about the stunts. It's about inspiring the next generation.
So that kind of inspiration, we want to make sure that we showcase that for the kids because they are our future, right? This is the first show they've had here in 21 years, in 21 years, since 2004. So you got a whole new generation of people, right, that are coming out and now wants to get excited about aviation.
And Jive's wife feels the same way. She helps put on these shows and says it's really about bringing people together and helping them see that aviation isn't just for the pilots, it's for everyone.
We introduce aviation to people who may not have been able to go and take an airplane ride yet. This is a great way for children to come and get close up to airplanes, meet pilots, meet mechanics. There's all sorts of different careers in aviation, and that's one of the things that Air Shows introduces people to.
So the stunts in the sky will grab your attention, but it's the people on the ground who show you just how many doors aviation can really open.
All right, former Coug Cedric Coward is now a Memphis Grizzly, and he had a special phone call last night after his selection.
The emotional call, plus a dive into how Coward fits into the Memphis organization, all coming up after the break in sports. And check out how the Mariners did after a 5+ hour-long rain delay in Minnesota.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now brings you an aerial postcard from the Duncan Gardens in Spokane, Washington.
This is him. You need an eye exam.
Wait weeks for an appointment? Now that's criminal.
Word on the street is at Stanton Optical, you don't have to wait for an eye exam. 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79 all same day. Stanton Optical, easy our thing.
It's the biggest trade-in event in America today through July 7th at Cal.
This is your chance to trade in anything, and I mean anything.
So you can upgrade to a better set of wheels by trading in the old for something better at Cal.
You'll love Yachtly Crew, a 7-piece SoCal band who has started a nationwide yacht rock craze. Live at the Coeur d'Alene Casino Thursday, July 3rd. George Thorogood and the Destroyers bring their roof-shaking rock party to the Coeur d'Alene Casino live Thursday, July 31st. Winter Music Nashville's multi-platinum star Gabby Barrett is an unstoppable force in country music and will be live at the Coeur d'Alene Casino Thursday, August 14th. Visit the Coeur d'Alene Casino box office or cdacasino.com for tickets.
Winning is just the beginning.
AARP Spokane and BECU invite you to take steps towards a sharper mind and a stronger community. Join them for a free monthly Saturday morning walk series at Franklin Park, designed for older adults, where every step supports your health. Led by local AARP volunteers, the walks will be a fun and welcoming way to stay active, socially connected, and informed. Whether you're a casual stroller or a brisk walker, all activity levels are welcome, and no one gets left behind. The first walk is June 28th from 9 to 11. Visit this website for details.
The 4th of July savings are rolling in at Findlay Downtown Toyota.
And that means explosive lease savings on all 2025 RAV4s, fuel-efficient Toyota Prius, and rugged Tacoma trucks. Or if you'd like to tow the boat or trailer with a new Tundra truck, take advantage of a $3,000 rebate or get 2.99% financing for 60 months during the 4th of July sale.
You can find it all this week at Findlay.
At Stanton,
Get a 1-month supply of Clarity One Day for only $69. Plus a free contact lens eye exam. That's a whole lot of savings. That is our best deal yet. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
The NBA draft continuing tonight with the second round right now, the first ever 2-day draft event for the league. And while we saw former Washington State and Eastern Washington stud Cedric Coward selected 11th to Memphis yesterday, that leaves this guy, former Zag Ryan Nembhard, as the next local prospect likely up. And Nembhard still hasn't been picked now, last I checked, as we enter the second half of the second round. And he brings such an elite playmaking, ball handling skills, all this kind of stuff to any NBA franchise. The senior led the NCAA in assists last season, breaking the all-time single-season Gonzaga and WCC record, finishing 5th by any player ever. His scoring took an uptick last season, too, plus great in limiting turnovers, but a smaller size, second smallest of anyone in the NBA Combine, could make defending bigger NBA players difficult. Now, we'll keep you updated on the rest of the second round. Updates will come up on Nightside and, of course, on KXLY.com.
And now, with the 11th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Cedric Coward from Washington State University.
We did it, man. Thank you. That's kudos to you guys, man. That's all I've been raised to do. Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm gonna have to get you out here to Memphis soon, man. Tell everybody else I love them too. All right. Bye-bye.
So great moment there you just watched between Cedric Coward and his grandfather. Really cool. They had that phone call just after he was selected last night. And Coward now ties Klay Thompson as the highest drafted Coug in program history at 11. Lots to be proud of in the Coward family. And WSU now has 4 players drafted in the past 5 years. They joined Duke, UConn, and Baylor as the only 4 schools with the top 40 draft picks in each of the past 3 years. The Fresno native will likely play in the Summer League coming up. Memphis will join Utah, Oklahoma City, and Philadelphia, all playing in the Salt Lake City tournament.
Do not disturb. Sam caught that. Wow, a rocket. And Woods Richardson.
Now, Woe is right. A 5+ hour delay. Just took forever. Pitcher Simeon Woods Richardson, what an incredible spot there. Pitched a scoreless 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, but his performance overshadowed by a tremendous Minnesota offense, railing the Mariners in a 10-1 series-winning game. But Seattle, they still win the season series 4-3, so they're not too bothered, but they're now off back-to-back losses with 1 total run scored between them. Miles Mastrobuoni pitched the bottom of the 8th inning and then hit the lone Seattle RBI in the top of the 9th. Yes, he really did that in back-to-back half innings. Seattle does stick on the road next up, traveling south to the Texas Rangers. That's starting up tomorrow evening. Spokane Indians, they're in a pretty nice 3-game win streak heading into Game 3 of this series against the Hillsboro Hops. It's the final time they visit Hillsboro this season. Game is just underway. Highlights coming up on Nightside. And I did miss, which I was devastated, I missed the Star Wars night this past weekend. Super bummed, but the jersey auction is still live. Going up tonight. You can purchase one of those special unis at the Indians website, which I don't know if Ashley will let me.
You are going, I know you're going to.
I don't know if I can. I have all these other ones I have on eBay.
Paydays tomorrow. You could do it. Sure, you can pull it off. All right. The Trump administration is planning to rescind the so-called roadless rule, which prevents logging and paving roads on national forest lands.
Idaho already has its own regulations in place for national forests, but Washington forests could be in jeopardy. Derek Strom spoke to conservationists about which forests are at risk.
Roadless areas, no matter where they're found, have a lot of value to communities and recreationists.
The roadless rule has been in place federally since 2001, and it's protected national forest lands from being logged and having new roads paved in them, but the Trump administration is planning to repeal the rule, meaning Washington forests could be logged, which conservationists believe would have serious consequences for the environment.
A lot of concerns about the care of our public lands and of the clean water and wildlife that rely on these intact areas.
Critics of the roadless rule say it can get in the way of active forest management and wildfire prevention, but conservationists believe protecting public lands and keeping them intact for recreation and sport is just as important.
Coming together in the past, we've recognized the value of inventoried roadless areas, and we think that any removal of these rules would be a big step backwards for our forest and our communities that depend on them.
Rolling back these regulations could have huge effects for paving roads and logging trees here in national forests in Washington, like the Colville National Forest here. But just across the state line in Idaho, they've had their own roadless rule in effect since the 2000s.
It really brought folks together from all walks of life and all perspectives to focus on responsible forest management and thinning and hazardous fuel reduction in the roaded front country where we live.
Idaho's roadless rule has been in place since 2006, meaning repealing the federal rule won't affect any of Idaho's forests. The Idaho Conservation League says the state's rule protects the most valued natural areas in the state while also conducting active forest management near communities that are at risk from wildfires. In Colville, Derek Strom, 4 News Now.
Your Friday planner. It is going to be seasonable. Temperature 78. Our average high is 77. A little bit breezy in the afternoon with clouds to start the day. Some afternoon sunshine. Really couldn't ask for a better start to Hoop Fest. Then things start to warm up. I'll be back with that after the break.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
At Fred Meyer, you never compromise. You get up high quality like bread baked in store and down low prices everywhere you turn. Up high quality that's guaranteed fresh and down low prices on over 1,000 items. With quality and savings that keep adding up, hand it to Fred Meyer shoppers. You never compromise. Fred Meyer. Fresh for everyone.
Touch can mean so many things, even for people with moderate to severe eczema. Touch can make 2 feel like 1, or simply be a helping hand. Dupixent can help you stay ahead of eczema as you welcome the feeling of touch. Dupixent helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema to help heal your skin from within. Many adults saw 90% clearer skin. Some even achieved long-lasting clearer skin. And fast itch relief after the first dose. Severe allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists, helps you feel the heal. See the difference for yourself. Reach out to your eczema specialist today.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. A heartbeat strong, steady, unwavering, like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. In every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
Get the freedom to save and $5,350 total value on this Silverado. Plus, trade in an eligible vehicle and get $3,250 total cash allowance when you finance with GM Financial. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
We owe everything to our troops, past and present, for their honor, courage, and dedication. As a token of our appreciation, 4 News Now and Global Credit Union encourage you once again to wear red on Fridays.
Join us in recognizing our troops and their families for allowing us the freedom we enjoy every day as Americans. Stop into any Global branch to pick up a red pin and show your support.
And then wear red every Friday from now until September 11.
Wear Red Fridays, brought to you by 4 News Now and Global Credit Union.
4 News Now is brought to you by Numerica Credit Union.
In the comfortable 70s today in most locations. Here's a look at our highs around the region. 77 in Spokane, that's exactly average. 78 in Coeur d'Alene and 77 in Sandpoint. Those late day clouds kept the temperatures from getting much warmer. We haven't had a whole lot of days about average. We see them in gray on our map there. All of those orange dates are above average temperatures, and we did have 4 below average days here recently, but we're headed the other direction. The red means record, and we have some red days ahead in the forecast, or I should say above average, likely not record highs, but we'll be in the 90s. Here's our high temperature trend over the next 7 days. This white line is our average high, 78 on Friday, up to 80 on Saturday, and then we are climbing into the 90s Monday, Tuesday, all the way through the end of next week. Our average high by this time next week is 80 degrees, so about 10 degrees above average by Thursday of next week. Here's what's going on right now. We have this nice westerly flow that is going to help pick up our winds a little bit tomorrow. Expect breezy conditions in the afternoon, and then high pressure begins building in. By the time we're into next week, it is going to be strong enough that we'll be sending those temperatures into the 90-degree range, and that high pressure is going to keep things very dry. We have had no precipitation today. We could still get a few sprinkles later this evening. I doubt it will amount to even 1/100 of an inch, or trace, if anything. As you can see, our year-to-date total of just less than 6 inches of precipitation is well below our average of over 9 inches of precipitation. And as of last Thursday, Spokane is included in the U.S. Drought Monitor. This updates every Thursday, and we did not used to be in this yellow shaded, unusually dry area, but now we are. The area in brown is moderate drought, and this area in orange, which does include parts of the Idaho Palouse and the LC Valley, is severe drought. So we really do need some precipitation. Unfortunately, not a drop of rain after tonight in our 7-day forecast, but we do have some hot, dry weather ahead next week. Overnight lows in the 50s for Hoop Fest weekend, and then we are into the 60s next week. Kirsten.
Thanks so much, Chris. And before we go to break, here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Style or substance? Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0% APR on select Sierra 1500 models.
ShopDaveSmith.com. Are you moving? Make it easy with Dan the Moving Man. Reliable, efficient, and stress-free. Dan is your locally owned, trusted household and piano moving partner. Visit danthemovingmanwa.com for your free quotes today.
In a world where life moves too fast, one place brings us back to what truly matters. Memories aren't made in traffic jams or office meetings. They're made out here, where the road leads to adventure and every mile is a story waiting to be told. At R&R RV, we don't just sell RVs. We fuel your journey with expert service and a passion for adventure, because the best moments in life don't fit inside 4 walls.
Water is an essential part of our everyday lives. It's important that Spokane acts wisely to preserve our precious water resources and not waste money on evaporation and the need for supplemental water infrastructure due to a burdened aquifer. Please avoid watering your lawn between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and limit watering to under 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. If we all do our part, we'll keep our river flowing strong, even in times of drought.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable and free from new tariffs. That's why we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder. So you can get the car you want, at the price you want, knowing Nissan is here for you at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue or Pathfinder.
Exclusive, Sherry Papini, the so-called perfect mom who served time for faking her own kidnapping.
There are injuries that I couldn't possibly do to myself.
Who she claims was really behind it. Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
If you would like to improve your sleep for less, then right now is the perfect time to visit Walker's Furniture for their 4th of July savings event. Experience first-class sleep, plus get it now and pay over time with no interest financing for up to 5 years. This week at Walker's.
Trump is doubling down that the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities obliterated their program. What the Secretary of Defense has to say and the state of the U.S. and Iran negotiations tonight at 11 o'clock.
Your Hoop Fest weekend. You want to hydrate regardless. Temperatures in the 80s both Saturday and Sunday. Those are airport temperatures. It's always much hotter down at Hoop Fest among the bodies and the buildings.
That is true.
It's always interesting to find out where your court is, too. Like if you might have some shade early in the day, but not so much later, that sort of thing.
I remember last year people sitting on, if they didn't have chairs, they were like sitting on these little fold-up. I need to buy one of them on Amazon. It's like a little pop-up chair.
Okay.
But it looks like a pretzel container.
Whatever works. Thanks so much for being with us here on 4 News Now at 6. We'll see you tonight for Nightside.